All right, everybody, welcome back to the Friday Review here today on the Cabral Concept. So excited to bring you two new research studies. One that's been getting a lot of airwave time with the national media. So that'll be fun to dissect that, go through that, really go through, what it's all about and does it actually have efficacy to it. We're going to go through another study, a big breakthrough actually in early Alzheimer's disease. So as I said, sometimes these things affect you, sometimes a loved one. You'll want to have this information, that's for sure. I've got two product reviews, all to do with blue light, better sleep. One that I'm using right now in my home, and then a healthy quick tip instead of a book review today. More books will be coming, of course. I want to give you a quick tip to use with your exercise that I think you're going to get a lot out of. I actually think that it's going to make you be able to recover better and improve your overall hormone-based regulation. But before we get to that, let's dive into the updates from the week. Not a lot for the week, but there is an important one. As we're kicking off this brand new year, we've had many people apply to essentially be a retailer or wholesaler of EquiLife functional medicine-based products. It might be at-home lab tests. It might be things like the daily nutritional support, omega-3 support, full-spectrum magnesium, advanced collagen support, or any of the 140 plus products. If you are a practitioner or you have a retail-based location, a sauna, a spa, a personal training studio, an F45 gym, etc., feel free to check out the practitioner space now, where you can actually get wholesale discounting on EquiLife-based products. Really simple. I'm going to link everything up here today at stephencabral.com/3276. Again, these aren't for individual accounts. These are for practitioner accounts, which means that you're purchasing for your retail location or your maybe in clinical based practice gym, etc. That can be found at practitioners.equa.life. That's practitioners, then .equi.life. But again, I'll link everything up today at stephencabral.com/3276. And before we dive into those product reviews, podcast recap. If you missed any of the shows this week, I think they were great ones. I hope that you're going to really enjoy them. Monday's show is one of my favorites. It was the 6 habits of happy, healthy people. All right. So what does that mean? What's all that alliteration mean? Happy, healthy people, 6 habits. Well, here's the thing. What I looked at in my practice and what I've seen and what I've looked at also in the study of psychology is that people who are happy aren't that way by accident. Basically, they've built it into their life. They've found things that work. And these 6 habits are things that you can begin to introduce to bring more happiness into your life. And on that show, I actually shared with you, because one of those tips are more laughter, how to get more laughter. For some people, maybe someone like myself, who's a little bit more intense, who's always on the go, who, enjoys that. It's not that I don't enjoy it. I enjoy it. That's why I do more of it. But how do we slow down? How do we laugh a little bit more? Well, I said on that show, I'll share with you a comedy special that my wife and I just watched. It's by Nate Bargatze, and I apologize if it's pronounced incorrectly, Bargatze. And it's called Your Friend, Nate Bargatze. And he's been around for quite some time, but new to me, new to my wife. We loved his show. Again, it doesn't have to be clean comedy, but this is clean comedy. This is like something that you could watch with your parents, maybe even your kids. So it was a fun show, and I said I'd bring that to you on this Friday review. So there you have it. That's what we were watching over the last week. Literally, we watched it in 3 20-minute spans because we don't have a whole lot of time when the kids go to bed, before we go to bed. But that was one way to do it. Great way to calm the nervous system before bed. All right, on Tuesday's show is the top natural heavy metal detoxifier. I go through that, plus I go through a few others from nature that I think you'll definitely want to check out. Wednesday's show is what's better, morning coffee before or after breakfast. And I actually break down the benefits of having it on an empty stomach versus after breakfast. I think by the end of the show, you'll know what's right for you. And then yesterday's show was the new anti-cancer tumor killer from an Australian plant. You can't miss this show. This is a huge breakthrough, and I'm excited about these big medical breakthroughs, and I actually think they're going to start to come faster over the next 10 to 15 years because we're simply going to be able to comb through the data faster with LLMs and AI, and that's the truth. And so that's a good thing for all of us, I think. All right, let's dive right into our product reviews for the week. And what I want to show you right now, though, is this new product, and I'll explain it if you're not watching on video. It is called light dimming tape. This is about 1.2, 1.25 inches across, and you get like 30 feet of it. So you get quite a bit. Now, why did I get this light dimming tape? So for many people, when they travel or even in your own bedroom like mine. So we purchased a house a couple years back, and inside of the bedroom, there is this panel for the thermostat. It's not a smart panel or anything like that, but there's a panel that essentially, it's an old school panel. It's a green light. You've probably seen it before, kind of that green lit screen. And it's not super bright, but it is bright when you are going to bed at night, or if you wake up during the middle of the night and you kind of open your eyes for a second, you see that panel. And that blue light, that light in general, that LED screen, and I don't know if it's a plasma or LED screen, but it's enough to be bright enough to disturb our eyes and raise our cortisol levels. We really don't want that, especially in our bedrooms. So what I was looking for was a tape that I'm able to cover, that I can still see through it during the day, but greatly reduces the blue light at night. So this tape dims it by 50%. So you can actually layer the tape. You can just cut a piece off like I did, which was about 2.5 inches or so. And then all I needed was that 1 inch strip, and it perfectly covers it. So now we can actually read the numbers during the day, because you still want to be able to see your thermostat, but at night it just greatly dims it. So they also make tape that completely blacks out any type of router. You don't need to see the signal on your router or anything like that. Hopefully it's not in your bedroom anyways. But for me, that really doesn't matter, because you could use duct tape, you could use electrical tape, you could use whatever to completely black out something. This actually dims it by 50%. And if you want to, you could double layer it if you chose to. So super inexpensive. I wanted to share with you exactly what I do. And that was the only blue light in the bedroom. So I said, well, my goal is to get rid of all of it. So let's tape this off. That's what I did. It works fantastic. The other thing I wanted to share with you just in blue light is that EquiLife just came out with these new blue blocking glasses. These are the lightest weight glasses I have literally ever held and used. I probably used about a dozen pairs of blue blockers. You can see all the fingerprints on these. These are well used. These are what I call low profile daytime blue blockers. So they're tiny. They're actually flexible, if you can see me bending them. So they're really not going to break with travel. And again, super lightweight. So you barely know that you have them on. So I can wear these and look at my computer screen, and it just takes the edge off, the sensitivity of my eyes from looking at a computer screen. And it has that slight yellow, which helps then to decrease all of the blue light that I don't need from all of these exogenous based screens. So really lightweight, but here's the nice thing. You can travel with them. You can throw them in a bag. You don't have to worry about scratching them. And they're also very inexpensive. So I'll link them up here today as well. This is what I'm wearing now. Again, you can find all these things, the blue light tape, everything today at stevencabral.com/3276. I will tell you as well that this is a daytime pair. We're looking at creating a nighttime pair with the darker orange lenses. Hopefully we'll be out in a couple months. We don't really rush these things. What we want to do is just put out a great product that we love, that especially I love myself, that I'm going to be using every single day and recommending to our clients and also our global health community. All right, quick health tip for the day. I wanted to share with you, a lot of people have been they've been mouth taping, and they've been using a nasal strip to improve their overall sleep at night. And I actually think that that's fantastic. If you're able to do that, I'm a big advocate of mouth taping at night so that you can increase parasympathetic nervous system tone. That's really the main reason. Yes, it can help with airways and all that, but contrary to what people say, it's actually just not true that it's going to change the shape of your face. It's not. By around 10 years old to 12 years old, your your palate, the bones above your mouth and where your sinuses are, so basically behind your nose and beside your nose, they're locked in place. Now, will it continue to get bigger? Yes, but it's locked in with the shape and ratio of your face. Before that age, before they actually lock in place, it's much easier to expand your palate. It's much easier to work on all these different types of things. But as an adult, I know people said, oh, it's opened up by 0.1 millimeters. Maybe they just had less inflammation. So I've heard it before, but there's not a whole lot of scientific evidence behind that. That does not mean, though, that you can't do malt taping and then improve nasal breathing. And what that does, though, is it calms the central nervous system. It's one of the main benefits. But as you get older, it also helps with nitric oxide production. So nitric oxide production is great for your heart, great for your immune system, great for mitochondria, and great for energy. So we absolutely want that. Then the reason I'm recommending here today, though, is not malt taping while you're exercising, but actually nasal breathing while you're exercising. So you try to keep your mouth closed the whole time while you're doing your sets. So it's something that I've been really cognizant of, is keeping my mouth closed while I'm going through my weight training and light, easy runs. So easy runs, mouth closed. Hard runs, no, I can't really do that because my heart rate's getting more elevated. But what I do is every once in a while, close my mouth, calm my breathing down. But if you're really pushing yourself, eventually you're going to have to open your mouth and get oxygen in, air in both through your nose and through your mouth. Some people may disagree. I totally get it. It's going to be difficult to see people sprinting with their mouth closed the whole time for 400 meters, but it is possible. What I'm saying is the most practical when we're weight training. And again, we're not talking about going through like a boot camp. Try to keep your mouth closed if you can. Put on a nasal strip. I'll be bringing you my new favorite nasal strips. Again, these aren't expensive, but these are just different than your Breathe Right strips. They're actually much improved, which you would expect after 30 years that someone comes out with a better one. So I'll share that company in probably a couple of weeks coming up from now. But that's what I do. So anytime that I'm going to be wanting to really focus on nasal breathing, I put on a nasal strip. And what that allows me to do for someone like me with a deviated septum on my right side is to get better air in, like get more oxygen in. And if you're someone with larger nasal passages, you don't need a nasal strip. And I totally get that. But try to keep your mouth closed. It's going to help keep cortisol levels lower, improve nitric oxide production, get more oxygen in so you're more efficient breathing that way through your nasal passages, and probably help overall with recovery. So can't recommend it enough. That is the quick tip or pseudo quick tip for the week. All right, so let's get now into the research for this week as well. And I want to bring you two studies that I was, one I needed to bring you. And the funny thing is, we've talked about this for years. So the Cabral Concept's been going on since 2016. We've talked about this since 2016, that alcohol is not healthy for us, right? Like it's just not in any way, shape, or form. Now, back 9 years ago, people would say, no, actually, a glass of red wine or a little bit of spirits or whatever can help improve overall cholesterol numbers and this, and this. And they would try to justify it, and doctors would tell you the same thing. It wasn't true back then. It's never been true. And now it's not like we know it's true because we knew it was true. But finally, I think after like real scientific pressure, the Surgeon General issued a new advisory on a link between alcohol and cancer risk. Again, years ago in the Cabral Concept, we shared the research that said anything more than 3 drinks for men a week and 2 drinks for women greatly increases your chance for cancer of about 7 different types, which I'll read you in just a moment. This is not new research. When I brought it to you, the research was already out there. It wasn't like I was in the lab doing this research. I had read the research on PubMed. I wanted to bring it to other individuals. So finally, the Surgeon General, which I'm sure you've been hearing, comes out and says there is now a clear link between alcohol consumption and increased cancer risk. Alcohol consumption is the 3rd leading preventable cause of cancer in the United States after tobacco and obesity. Let me read that again. Smoking, obesity, and then alcohol. These are 3 things that we really want to help each other with. We really do. Okay. Increasing risk for at least 7 different types of cancer. While scientific evidence for this connection has been growing over the past 4 decades, that's 40 years, less than half of Americans recognize it as a risk factor for cancer. And they don't recognize as much of a risk factor for cancer because we never tell them that it is. That's the reason why. Because the general public does not know about their health unless they're taught about that, right? Like we don't know about taxes or whatever unless we're told about it, right? So like, why would anybody... They wouldn't know because no one's ever told them, because it's literally been pushed under the rug, just like smoking was for decades as well. All right, direct quote. Alcohol is well-established preventable cause of cancer, responsible for 100,000 cases of cancer and 20,000 cancer deaths annually in the United States, greater than the 13,500 alcohol-associated traffic crash fatalities per year in the U.S., yet the majority of Americans are unaware of the risk. So, I mean, this is pretty crazy because these are really low-level numbers. These are numbers that they can absolutely tie to it, but they're such low level. Like these are, I would say, allegedly or much higher. So, 100,000 cases of cancer, 20,000 deaths from alcohol, whereas 13,500 are from alcohol traffic fatalities. All right, last paragraph. The direct link between alcohol consumption and cancer risk is well established for at least 7 different types of cancer, including breast cancer, colorectum, esophagus, sorry about that, liver, mouth, throat, and voice box, which is the larynx, regardless of the type of alcohol, beer, wine, or spirits that is consumed. For breast cancer specifically, 16.4% of total breast cancer cases are attributed to alcohol consumption. So there you have it. There is no safe amount of alcohol. If you consume alcohol, don't say it's for your health. Say, I'm having a glass of alcohol because I'm choosing to have a glass and celebrate, enjoy the company of friends, and hopefully you do it infrequently. It's not that I will never have a glass of alcohol again after reading this. Again, I've seen the research for many, many years, but it's sparingly. And that's, I think, how we want to use alcohol if we do for a more special occasion, if we are someone that is really worried and kind of dedicated to their health, which I know many people listening to this are. All right. So I wanted to share that with you. And now you have it directly from the Surgeon General. Okay. We've got some, I always like to end with a good one. I always like to end with some good news. We have a new drug treatment that is actually in phase 2B, phase 3 trial. This was almost a year-long trial. It was done over 52 medical research centers and hospitals in 5 countries. And it is for a product called blarcamesine. So it's blarcamesine. I'll link it up. Blarcamesine. Don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but you will hopefully see this. It's not out yet, but you'll see it in the future. And it is in the early Alzheimer intervention. And here were the results. 508 participants with early stage Alzheimer's. Now, this isn't early as in stage 1 or stage 2. This is early as in stage 3. That's still progressed. So again, I just want you to share with you that this is absolutely Alzheimer's that has been set in. Okay. And so I'll share with you other details at the end, but let me go through this. So blarcamesine demonstrated a safety profile with no associated neuroimaging adverse effects. It was given in 3 different dosages. So basically the study was a double-blind placebo, which are the studies that I like. There was a 30 milligram group, a 50 milligram group, or a placebo group. All right. So the 50 milligram group decreased their clinical progression of Alzheimer's compared to the placebo, which is, again, pretty amazing, right? Because placebos usually do better than just controls, like general population. So it'd be kind of nice to see if they even just had a control, which I'm sure the control is just general population. But it reduced it by 38.5%. That's greater than a third. I mean, so that's impressive. And the 30 milligram dosage was by 34.6. So pretty close for almost half the dosage, which I think that, if there seems to be side effects in the future, for half the dosage, you can get basically almost the same results. And again, this was compared to the placebo. They also found, because there was a gene called SIGMAR1, SIGMAR1, the wild type gene for specific type of Alzheimer's, and basically an increase in beta amyloid plaque. And this individual group saw a slowed clinical progression by about 50%, 49.8. That's remarkable. So especially for people with this specific gene, this could be something that could be very beneficial to the general population. Now, as a doctor of naturopathy, my goal is to help people find this decades in advance and then use all natural treatments. That's the whole goal, so that it never progresses in the first place. But what happens if you find yourself at stage 3, or you're working with a parent or client and they don't want to do all the natural things? Well, it is nice to be able to help people in any way that we can. And this may be one way. So to be able to find all of these health-based issues decades in advance. I can't recommend enough going to highperformancehealth.org. Again, it's highperformancehealth.org. I teach all of this over a course of basically 12 weeks, what to lab test, what to look for, how to help, your clients or parents or yourself. And then for this study as well as all the others and the product reviews, you can head on over to stephencabral.com/3276. Take care, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow answering all of our community questions on our Cabral House Calls. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.